Imagine, every day you're held back by a fear that feels like it's always there, stopping you from doing the things you really want to do. It might be fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. But what if facing that fear could change everything? What if by confronting it, you could become more confident, open up new opportunities, and finally feel free? In this video, we'll explore how Stoicism teaches us to face our fears head-on, and how doing that can completely transform your life. Lesson 1. Boosts self-confidence. When you face your biggest fear, you feel more confident in ways you never thought possible. There are times in our lives when we doubt our own skills and wonder if we have what it takes to be successful. A lot of the time, this doubt comes from fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, and fear of not being good enough. These fears keep us from reaching our full potential because they block our thoughts. But something amazing happens when you face your fear head-on. You start to understand that the fear wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. According to the Stoics, fear is just something we think about, not something that really happens. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most important Stoic thinkers, told himself over and over, "A man should not fear death. He should fear never beginning to live." The real danger is not facing your fears, but running away from them. You leave your comfort zone when you push through the pain of fear and do something anyway. You trust yourself more when you know you can handle tough situations and get through tough times. This increased confidence will make every part of your life better. No longer held back by the fear of failing or being turned down, you'll start taking on jobs with confidence. You'll have more faith in yourself as you face your fears. It will dawn on you that you can do a lot more than you thought you could. You build your confidence stronger with each small win over fear. That's not pride or overconfidence. That's a strong belief in your own skills. In turn, this makes you more successful and happy in life. Lesson 2. Eliminate self-limiting beliefs. Facing your biggest fear gets rid of self-limiting ideas, which is another huge benefit. There are things we all believe about ourselves that stop us from growing. These ideas come from fear a lot of the time. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. People will laugh at me. All of these things are lies we tell ourselves, and they come true. The stronger our beliefs, the more we follow them, and the more they change the world around us. But when you face your fears, you start to question these ideas straight on. Stoicism tells us that our feelings and thoughts don't make us who we are. The Stoics said that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we react to them. It is not the things themselves that bother people, but the judgments they make about these things, said Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker. You're not held back by your fear. You're held back by your belief in its power. When you face your fears, you break through the illusion of these ideas that hold you back. You start to see them for what they are. Mental blocks that don't hold any real weight. When you face your fears, you question whether or not they are true, and those ideas start to fall apart. You can lose power over these ideas the more you show yourself that they are not true. As these beliefs that hold you back fade away, you become more open to new options and chances that you thought were out of reach before. You start to live knowing that your past mistakes and your fear of the unknown don't have to hold you back. You can make your own way, change what you think you can do, and keep going with the belief that you can do anything you set your mind to. The great thing about Stoicism is that it helps you control your mind as well as your fears. Lesson 3. Fosters personal growth. Fear can stop people from growing as people. When we're scared, we tend to stay in our safety zones and avoid tasks and risks. But the Stoics thought that we can only grow when we leave our comfort zone and face what we don't know. Indeed, it is when we are uncomfortable that we grow the most. One of the most famous Stoic thinkers, Seneca, said, "Things are hard not because we don't dare, but because we do not dare." When we stay away from tough scenarios out of fear, we stop growing. Putting ourselves through those things, though, helps us grow. You get stronger every time you face your fears. You are finding out more about your skills, weaknesses, and what you can do. When you face your fears, you have to change, grow, and push past what you think are your limits. Making you want to be a better person is what it does. Dealing with and getting past your fears is a way to grow as a person. With each fear you get over, you get stronger, braver, and better at what you do. When you see your fear as a chance to grow, you change your mindset from one of avoiding to one of empowering. You learn not to run away from what scares you, but to run towards it, because you know that it will help you grow. The Stoic philosophy tells us that life's problems are chances to get better. It's not that hard times and fears are bad. They're just steps on the way to becoming the person we were meant to be. Lesson 4. Reduces stress and anxiety. One of the most obvious and immediate benefits of facing your biggest fear is that it makes you less stressed and anxious. Anxiety is fed by fear. When you don't face your fears, they grow in the background of your mind, making you feel like danger is about to strike. Many times, the fear of what might happen, or the fear of the unknown, is worse than the fear itself. However, facing your fear head-on takes away its power over you. The Stoics were very good at dealing with stress. They thought that a lot of our stress comes from worrying about things we can't change. Epictetus once said, "We suffer more in our minds than in real life." When we face our fears, we take charge of our minds and lessen the effect of our imagined worries. We feel more nervous when we try to avoid our fears, but when we talk to them, they lose their power over us and their secret. We learn to tell the difference between what we can control and what we can't by following Stoic ideals. The second type of emotion is fear, which we can't fully control because it's an emotional reaction. We can't change how we feel about fear, though. We do not have to let it paralyze us. We can face it with courage and calm. The nervousness starts to go away as soon as we take that step. We now see that our fear wasn't as strong as we thought it was. Our mental health is greatly improved by our growing ability to deal with fear. The worry and stress that used to be so bad start to go away. We start to look at life with a sense of calm and clarity instead of being worried all the time. We feel more at ease with ourselves, more in the present, and more focused. Lesson 5. Unlocks new opportunities. When you face your biggest fear, you open up new options that you wouldn't have thought of before. Fear keeps us in the same place, making us do the same things over and over again. It limits our ability. You'll see the world in ways you never thought possible once you face your fear. You start to see options where none were there before. Stoicism tells us that our fears are often based on what we think might happen, not on what really happened. When you face your fear, you break out of the limits of that narrow view. You start to see things for what they really are, not how your fears have made you see them. With this new point of view, you can see possibilities that you couldn't see before. Take the case of being afraid of public speaking as an example. This fear has kept you from being a leader, speaking up in meetings, or telling other people about your thoughts. But when you face your fear, you start to see chances to grow. You understand that speaking in public is not as scary as you thought it would be. Instead, it becomes a chance to share your thoughts, inspire others, and tell the world about your goal. All worries are based on the same idea. Facing your fears, whether they are of failing, being turned down, or the unknown, can lead to new experiences and chances. You begin to take chances that you used to stay away from. You start to accept tasks that seemed impossible at first. Your life gets fuller, more meaningful, and more in line with your real potential as a result. Lesson 6. Improves decision-making. Fear can make it hard to think clearly, which can make us make choices based on avoidance instead of wisdom. We often do bad things when we are scared. Picks that keep us in our comfort zone, even if they're not the best ones for us. Being afraid of something makes you more clear. You start to make choices based on reason and logic instead of fear. The Stoics thought it was important to think clearly and make decisions based on reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote a lot about how important it is to follow our own reason when we act. He thought that fear was a feeling that made it hard to make good decisions. He also thought that facing our fears would help us make better decisions. You gain control of your mind when you face your fear. No longer do you choose based on what scares you. Now you choose based on what is best for your growth and health. This change in how you think gives you a sense of direction and meaning in life. You start to make decisions based on your values and long-term goals instead of what will make you feel good in the short run. This better ability to make choices affects every part of your life. You become more sure of your decisions, braver, and ready to take chances that will help you grow and succeed. Fear that used to stop you from doing something no longer has the power to change your mind. You instead approach life with clarity, knowledge, and a sense of what you're here to do. Lesson 7 makes you more emotionally strong. Emotional resilience means being able to get back up after a setback, stay strong when things get tough, and keep going even when things get hard. One of the best ways to build mental strength is to face your biggest fear. When you face your fears, you learn how to handle tough feelings and situations with strength and grace. The Stoics thought that bad things happen in life for a reason. They taught us not to be afraid of bad times, but to see them as chances to grow. Seneca said, "Difficulties make the mind stronger, just as work makes the body stronger." You get stronger when you face your fears. You learn that you can deal with tough situations, that you're better than you thought, and that you can get through tough times. Being emotionally strong is a very useful trait to have in life. It gives you the ability to handle tough times with calm and ease. You face problems with confidence, knowing that you are strong enough to handle anything that comes your way, instead of being scared or anxious. This makes you stronger, and it not only helps you face your fears, but it also makes you better able to deal with change and uncertainty. You become more emotionally strong as you face your fears more often. You stop seeing fear as something that stands in your way and start seeing it as a chance to get better. When you change the way you think about things, you can face life with courage and drive, knowing that you can handle any problems that come your way. Lesson 8 brings a sense of freedom. One of the best things about facing your biggest fear is that it can make you feel free. We stay stuck in a small form of ourselves because of fear. It stops us from going after our dreams, taking chances, and having a full and meaningful life. You get out of the cage when you face your fear. You gain a level of freedom that will change your life. According to the Stoics, real freedom comes from inside. He said, "No one is free who is not in charge of himself." You take control of your mind when you face your fears. Fear, worry, and self-doubt no longer have power over you. Instead, you approach life with a sense of freedom and power. You can live your life the way you want to because you feel free. You start to follow your dreams without worrying about failing or being judged. There are risks you take that help you grow and earn money. You see problems as chances to learn and grow, and you welcome them. Finally, you live your life with a sense of meaning and satisfaction. Getting over your biggest fear will give you this freedom. It lets you live a real life, one that isn't limited by fear or doubt that you have in yourself. You start to see the world as a place where anything is possible, and you can make your own adventures. In the end, facing your biggest fear is more than just getting through one task. It's about making changes in your life. When you face your fears, you gain self-confidence, get rid of beliefs that hold you back, grow as a person, lower your stress and anxiety, open up new possibilities, make better decisions, become emotionally stronger, and feel free. Stoicism tells us that we shouldn't try to avoid fear, but instead should welcome it as a chance to grow and gain power. So do what you need to do. Face what scares you the most, and see how your life changes in ways you didn't think possible.